girl can cook. She got the recipe. She got what you need. That girl can cook. That black girl magic. I gotta have it.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And today guys, I'm going to be showing you how to make my homemade delicious dinner rolls. And guess what the best part is? You don't need a stand mixer and you don't have to knead. So go ahead and grab all of your ingredients and let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to get started on is our yeast mixture. So the first thing you're going to need is a tablespoon of granulated sugar. I'm adding this to a small bowl, and I'm going to add in a cup of lukewarm water. Y'all know what lukewarm means, okay? Also a half cup of lukewarm water. If you feel like you need to get the temp, you can, but y'all just make sure it's not hot. It just needs to be slightly warm, all right? Today we're using active dry yeast, which means we will have to bloom. You do have instant yeast, but we're not using instant yeast. Grab the active dry yeast, okay? So sprinkle your yeast mixture into the milk and the water. We're only using just one packet, and you want to mix that for about 30 seconds to agitate it a little bit, okay? So I'm going to bloom it in a nice warm area, which is on my countertop, for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's nice and frothy. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and grab 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and we're going to season our flour, okay? We season it with a 4th cup of some granulated sugar and a teaspoon of salt. That's all you need, okay? Go ahead and mix that to combine it. Look at you. You already a bread pro, all right? And let me say this. I am not a baker, but I can bake some bread. Just some little slight bread, but I'm not no baker, so don't come for me, okay? Let's go ahead and put that out there. Now, moving right along, we're going to start on our wet mixture. I have 2 large eggs here that's going into a small bowl. And to these eggs, I am going to add in some melted butter. Now, you can keep them separate if you want. Look, I got to get the little white part out because we don't know what that is and we don't want that in there. So I take it out. You can do what you want, but I'm taking it out. But we're going to add in some butter. You can either add your butter in now or you can add it directly into the mixture. I just add it all in together. Just make sure if you do this that it's not hot or you will have scrambled eggs, okay? It's just melted. It's been sitting for a while and I whisked that together. Simple. All right, so move that to the side. And now let's go back to our flour mixture because it has been about 10 minutes, all right? So I'm going to make a small little well just to make my mixture go a little bit easier. And I'm going to pour in the egg and butter mixture that I just mixed together. All you have to do is just pour it in there. There's no special way you got to do it. Just throw it in there, child. And guess what? You don't need a stand mixer or any type of fancy equipment. We're doing this all by hand. That's the best part of this recipe. Now here's our yeast mixture. It looks really disgusting, but that's the way you want it to look. If it does not look like that, that means your active yeast is either bad or it's old, okay? So you're gonna have to start that whole process over. So make sure your yeast blooms properly. But I'm just taking a wooden spoon here and I'm just going in and mixing this. You don't really have to worry about over mixing it too much. But, just be careful with it. Just be nice and gentle. I like to add in a little bit of softened, salted butter just for some extra razzle-dazzle. I mean, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. But once you get it all mixed where you don't see any flour, okay, no flour, everything's incorporated, the egg, all of that good stuff, go ahead and transfer it to another bowl. I like to use a metal bowl for this. And I just spray it with a little bit of my olive oil spray. And then I wipe it down. So, if my dough get to sticking, honey, I can pull it right on out of that, okay? That's the whole point of spraying it. If you don't have spray, you can use like a little dab of oil. That's it. But I'm putting my mixture over into this bowl, all right? And I'm going to cover and proof this on the countertop for 90 minutes. Yes, because we use active dry yeast, we do have to let this sit, okay? This is not instant yeast. So I'm going to let it sit for about 90 minutes on my tabletop, okay? And you can use plastic or you can use a cloth. And you just let it rise. So here is what it's going to look like after 90 minutes. It's going to definitely double in size. It's going to be a lot lighter and not as dense. And it's going to be really stretchy, okay? That's what you want. That's what the yeast does. Look at us doing a little science experiment. All right, so look, I have some flour here. You definitely do not have to use as much flour as I'm finna use. I just did not want to get this board dirty, and I still got it dirty. So, baby, don't go crazy. Now, again, I said this is a no-knead recipe. You can knead it if you want. You will definitely get a smoother, more uniform roll. However, it's really not required for this particular recipe. So I didn't need it. I just folded it a couple of times just so I could form it into a nice ball. And I'm going to flatten it out just like that. That's the shape you want. And I'm going to flatten it out, and then I'm going to cut it into the pieces that I need. So I cut it once in half, and then I cut it again in half, and then I cut all of those pieces until I got 12 pieces. Now, if you want your dough balls to be even and uniform and you really antsy about that type of stuff, make sure you do that. Because I actually ended up getting 12 pieces out of this. But some of my pieces, I ended up having to combine them bad boys because they was just like, some were too small, some were too big. But hey, we improvise, right? We move on and we improvise. So you're going to form each section into a ball. And here I just like to kind of pull it down, kind of like mozzarella, and then twist the bottom. So it's a nice little ball, you know, make it look all sweet and pretty because I'm going to devour it later. And as you can see, they're not super perfect. I mean, they just little dough balls, but make sure they're nice and uniform. And then we're going to cover them and let them rise for about 30 to 35 minutes. Now, let me say this. I let mine rise too long. I actually had to leave the house and they got super tall. Now, the risk with that is if you start poking at them, they may deflate. And that's not really a big deal. But if you want them to have some girth, you're going to have to definitely not let them overrise. So only about 30 to 35 minutes. And then we're going to bake these at 350 for 20 to 22 minutes, maybe 18. And y'all look at that. Look at that. Honey, I'm telling you, once you break this bread and you taste it, you're going to be like, child, I did that. I'm going to be like, yeah, you did that. You did it, girl. Or dude, you know, you did it. It was your bread baking skills. And also, while we're here, please do not come for my paintbrush that my Instacart shopper purchased instead of getting me a pastry brush, okay? That ain't my fault. I used it anyway. Now, if y'all try this recipe out, let me know down in the comment section. And I appreciate y'all, as always, for watching my channel and supporting me. And I'll see y'all next time in the next video. Bye!